Hello there. Hi. This is the Randomized Game Series, Season 1 of the full review of all 10 games, plus that one extra that we did in October of this year, Scooby Doo Unmasked, which comes out to 11 games. Thus, here we are, the 10 game review plus one, and that is what we're going to do here today, which is discuss, review, and give my feelings and my experience about these PlayStation 2 games here on the original hardware, on the original console, because I had a lot of fun doing them, and I hope anyone that stumbles upon this review finds it informative and at least some sleek and funny commentary that I'll try to throw in there one of me just doing this commentary / review of all 10 games. Let's start off with Disney's Treasure Planet, which of course you could see, review and rating, and all the music gladly supported through Stream Tunes, so I wouldn't have to worry about copyrights or DMCA music. For anyone that wants any of that, check out Stream Tunes. You might get some really good music that you might find there, and I really like their lo-fi music, so if I were sponsored by them, that would be awesome. But this is the review of all the 10 games that I'm here to do and not get carried away with such distractions. But the music really helps it as I'm going to discuss these games. So let's get into it. Disney's Treasure Planet, the very first game. So I'd like to mention some of the information that I'm going to be discussing is from my Discord. So I am not fully prepared to do any speeches or whatnot, but this is just pure improv and basically everything that I've written on my Discord for archives for what the game is about and when it was randomized and when it was completed, and also my full review of what I think about the game. So at least you have an idea with what I'm about to dive in for each game that I will do. For recording wise of how long this video will be, I'm not sure, so I'm just going to wing it as I go. And like I said, I'm not fully prepared to do this. I am, however, wanting to get this video out so that way I can express how I feel about these games, just my experience, and I guess just have fun with it as I do this, because that's basically what the whole intention of the whole Season 1 game review is. I'm just basically having fun, sharing my experiences, and just having a blast of discussing these games. Even though I really do wish I had other people with me, it's just kind of hard to do that when you have no internet. And you know, you wish you could try to get other people to join a call with you in Discord. Maybe you could discuss the game. I was having a discussion with someone earlier about if they wanted to join, but I figured it'd just be I feel like I don't want it to be more of a hassle, or I don't want it to be it's just kind of a scarier factor for me, only because it's just me discussing about these games and no one else is like here with me to discuss it with it. For my adventures, that anyone that has watched or consistently or not even at all, and that's perfectly fine. At least you'll know that I played that, I beat it, and then just sharing my experience. Anyway, I'm sorry, I get carried away with this. Let's go ahead and dwell into this. So the platformer, obviously, PlayStation and PlayStation 2. The genre is action, platformer, and 3D. The developer that made this game, Magenta Software. I think there's I think there's 3 other developers, but the main one that I listed is Magenta Software that developed this game. Publisher is Sony Computer Entertainment America. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous here. Released 2002, randomized, as you could see, July 9th, 2023, and ended August 9th of 2023. And here's what the game is about. Get ready for an epic adventure of bloodthirsty pirates and buried treasure. Treasure Planet brings Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island not just right at the date, but into the future. One in which the spaceship Legacy is overrun by mutinous pirates, led by the cyborg John Silver. You'll take on the role of Jim as he solar surfs and performs action moves with the help of Morph, who can transform into various items, which he actually never does, so, I'm just getting carried away. Embark on a voyage through 10 levels, mini-games, and boss challenges as you view original artwork, behind-the-scenes game footage, and stored movie clips. I thought that said more for a second. It's movie. I really should be wearing my glasses as I'm doing this. But hey, that's a-okay to me. Let's go ahead, check out that game review of what I talked about, Disney's Treasure Planet, and we'll get right through this. So just purely going from the archive section here of what I said about the game, and I'll try to add some, I guess, memory from what I remember from the game. But this is just purely what I put in the Discord, so you'll know versus between how I feel about the game now and then beforehand. So here we go. So we beat the game, but not covered all the missions, which is true. We didn't complete everything in the final planetary sections of the game. Unfortunately, I lost all my progress due to the save files not existing in the memory card. I don't know what happened. I do know what happened. The memory card was actually somewhere else in the room. I thought I lost it, but the save file was still on there, so thank God for that. I think I I'm clearing up the clarification of what happened in that memory card, so it is recovered. I do have my progress on there, so I don't have to restart the entire game completely. So, my review. The game is a little fun platformer for anybody to enjoy. It can be rough around the edges with its surfing aspect, environments, and atmospheric tones. Looks beautiful, and I wouldn't change a thing. Character models are okay, but it's just they're a bit clunky in some areas. Story-wise, felt rushed and no more than a licensed game that needed the money in the bank. And then here's a little bit more of the gameplay. The solar surfing in particular was fun, yet a freaking headache to control. It very was. The platforming aspect is really enjoyable, along with collecting green energies and building up doubloons, because that was always fun to collect in the game. This might be overkill for me to say this, though I wish the game had a store so you could spend doubloons for extras. I actually would not mind that. The main extras in the game had concept art and videos. Also bear in mind this game was released a few months after the movie release, so cutting ties and shortening the game could have been the reason as to why this game flops hard with time and story writing. And that is my 2 cents on Disney's Treasure Planet of my full review on the Discord. How I feel now, I feel like I could come back to the game and finish up the rest of the planetary sections that I mentioned in that review. Overall, the game was really fun. There was a lot of things that were wrong with the Solar Surfer missions, only because I could not control it for the life of me. I feel like I'm reiterating that, but I really am saying that. Like, it was very difficult to even traverse your way through, especially one of the jungle sections in the game was very, very demeaning and very hurtful to the player. Not just myself, and I'm sure other people would attest to this, but like the jungle area in the one of the planets in Disney's Treasure Planet was very abysmal to do, especially with many of the races and many of the mini games that it asked you to do to get a full 100% in each planet that you have to complete. And it's just, I just didn't like it. But collecting the doubloons and had some variety to it, but not just being Jim, but with the whole platforming aspect, but you get to also do other things instead of having to use the Solar Surfer for everything else. But its main source of platforming is the constant balance between using the surfboard, the Solar Surfer, and just basically walking around. That's all you really were doing in the game. There wasn't really much variety other than that. And that's kind of how I feel towards Disney's Treasure Planet. But that's just one game I was able to cover. Now let's move on to the next game, which is... Let me go to my Discord real quick. My phone. Alright, so that way I'm just ready right there to explain what the game is. And then we go to here. Look at that! Oh my god. Gretzky NHL 2005 was the next randomized game. Number 2. But I could have had Scorpion King if all my games were not in a binder, and I would have able to find it. Scorpion King could have been the sequel, could have been the second game in this lineup. But unfortunately, I could not find it, and so I re-randomized, or I redrawed. What? I feel like re-randomized would be a better way to say it. Gretzky NHL 2005, which, let me go ahead and give you some information about this game first, and then my review. That's how it's going to go. So hopefully I'm not going to be a broken record about saying that for each title, but at least you have an idea with how it's going to be presented throughout this review. So, PlayStation 2, which is the platform. It's for its genre, it's a sports, team, ice hockey, and sim, like, I guess, from what I'm reading. The developer, Page 44 Studios, published by Sony Computer Entertainment America, released November 9th, 2004. Franchises, which, okay, I guess that's in there. NHL Face-Off and Wayne Gretzky. Well, we can't forget the Mr. Main Wayne Gretzky here. It was randomized. Well, according to my Discord, it was randomized August 9th, 2023. It started August 11th and ended the same day. Side note, which I already have in the Discord, which I already said, Scorpion King could have been the title right here, but I re-randomized and we got Gretzky. So here is the description of what the game is about. Experience the look, feel, and passion of hockey and Gretzky NHL 2005. This game features players with detailed facial animations, EyeToy functionality, which lets you put your face in the game, and enhanced arenas complete with arena-specific game intros, goal horns, and interactive crowds. Gretzky NHL 2005 offers a variety of gameplay modes, including tournament with customizable tournaments, franchise, where you can act as the owner, online with downloadable rosters, and rivalry, which lets you revisit heated matchups. It's quite a mouthful with how much they implemented in Gretzky NHL 2005. However, I did not spend too much time on this game, and I moved on to the next game. But here's my review about it. So I didn't do a whole lot in the game due to my drunkenness and lazy attitude, phone, to play the game right. I feel like I could have given this game another chance. If it so chooses to be randomized in the completed game pile, that's something else entirely. In this review, this is my full honest opinion, and I feel bad that I didn't push any more energy into this game. My co-host, Bungaboo, was also with us, and he did the heavy lifting to read the manual and guide ourselves into obscurity of liquor. I think that's the best explanation of a review right there, just for Wayne Gretzky. So, oh my god, I didn't give you my verdict on Treasure Planet. Oh no. Oh well. Well, here's my verdict on Gretzky. 4.0 out of 10. And Disney's Treasure Planet verdict that I gave it, which I completely forgot to do, which was 6.5 out of 10 for Disney's Treasure Planet. Here I'm doing it now. I should have done my verdict, but I completely forgot. I'm so sorry. But here is some of the my review for the gameplay, I guess, or just more from what I've added. It's your average sports game, but with Wayne Gretzky. I would come back to this if I had more of an open mind, but the lack of the game telling you how to play felt long and drawn out. I didn't do much of it, and I had the sense this game could have been better. Yeah, that's on me for not playing this game as it should have, or that's on, yeah, as it was intended, because I randomized a sports game thinking that maybe I'll be able to get through it. Here I am stuck on Cabela's Deer Hunt 2005 season, and I still have not completed that game. Bear in mind that it's a sports game. This also, hence, another sports game, which Gretzky only shown one episode out of the entire season 1 of the PlayStation 2 saga. So, with that being said, I feel bad that I didn't complete Gretzky, but I do remember from my experience, and this is not going from this is not from the archives or in the Discord, which is I do remember doing the extras. I remember watching a lot of tutorial videos. I got myself into doing some matches. I don't know if I did one match of championship. I can't remember correctly, but I remember putting in quite a bit of energy to do and practice and get myself into at least a tournament just to see what it was like. It was hell. I did not like it. I was boozed beyond belief. And, our co-host, Bungaboo, was there too. Or he can attest to this because we tried, or he helped me, and I tried to figure out the game on its own as I kept watching more of the tutorials, and it felt long. Sure, it was educating me on how to play the game correctly, but if I was sober and if I knew what I was doing, I think this could have been a better and fun experience if I did put in the initiative to play Gretzky NHL 2005. But with how things went, I put the score at a 4.0 out of 10 for Gretzky, only because I just did not have a fun time, and the experience was not really fun whatsoever. I did, however, try to plug in the EyeToy just to see what it was like, and the EyeToy did not get any capture whatsoever in the game, and I felt like I was going to go insane. Other than that, 4.0 out of 10 for Wayne Gretzky's NHL 2005, and that's game number 2. Now, let me go to game number 3, and we can talk about that. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. And then we just do this button. Whoa! Oh my god! No. We went to 4. You shouldn't have seen that. Ugh. You don't know what 4 was, okay? You didn't see it. I don't know what happened to my music, but I guess we're not going to do any more music then. That sucks. I was trying to fiddle with Stream Tunes, and Stream Tunes just, I don't know what's happening. Let's just continue with the review before I get sidetracked. So Superman Returns, randomized game number 3. And so, the platform, PlayStation 2, I think it's also on Xbox. I don't know if this came out on GameCube. I don't remember. But the platform does tell me PlayStation 2 and Xbox. The genre, which is action-adventure, open world. The developer, EA. The publisher, EA Games. And release was November 20th, 2006. Franchise, Superman, because it's Superman, man. And obviously it was randomized August 11th, 2023, started August 21st, 2023, and ended, August 26th. So bear in mind if the started and ended might be off, because the ones that are on the Discord are actually correct dates. So there might be some things that might be out of whack here. So just bear in mind with that. Because I know it says ended August 24th, which is not correct. But there was a redraw before this game, and I wish it was here. It's not showing, which is Jack 3. Superman Returns had originally had a redraw, so this is the final one. Before this one, we could have had Jack 3. We could have had Jack 3 within the very first season of the PlayStation 2 series, but we already have a Jack 3 coming up in the PlayStation 3 series. That is the very first season so far. But we have started Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal on the PlayStation 3. So be prepared for that. So let's go ahead and talk about what Superman Returns is about. True to the fiction in every respect, this is the game based on the Superman universe that fans have been anticipating for decades. From excited citizens to the traffic on the streets, every detail of this vibrant city has a mind of its own. These 80 square miles are brought to life for the very first time in a video game. Go anywhere and do anything in Metropolis as Superman. Non-linear gameplay allows you to explore and play the game exactly how you want it at your own pace. Where and how you fly to the top of skyscrapers, dodging elevated trains, is completely up to you. Since gameplay is designed as a true open-world experience with notorious villains like Metalio, I probably said that wrong, and colossal challenges only Superman can overcome, you must navigate the Man of Steel to monitor and protect Metropolis, Sly, from destruction. 3 distinct types of gameplay: flying, rescue, and combat will keep the action constant and the challenge is relentless. Play both film-inspired missions as well as original content created exclusively for the video game. Graphics, sounds, and gameplay have been taken to the next level to create a Metropolis like you've never seen it, with 3-dimensional sounds, a complete orchestra soundtrack, and Oscar-winning sound designer. Well, would you look at that? That's crazy. I mean, I think that's fancy, right? Now, let's see what I thought about the game with its high-packed soundtrack and the moving winds of Superman going through one skyscraper to the next, or just traversing the whole entire city. So, my review. The Supes and the Cats had their differences, but that aside, Superman Returns. I hope you don't return. There is more to this game with its activities in the city and more extra stuff to do with and just collecting cats. I just don't see it as a completion towards 100%. In the game, it did say 100% for sure. It really did. So it does make me wonder if it keeps going up when you keep doing side activities. That I don't really know. So if anyone out there that knows if your percentage goes up if you keep doing side activities, please let me know, because I've got no idea. So my review, my first impressions getting into the game felt draining and off to a bad start with asteroids. I could care less about the asteroids. I mean, that was the very first thing. Like, you get prompted in the game, and then they just expect you to know how to play it. So, and then I did enjoy some fights, like the beginning stages in the arena. I really appreciated the arena, which you get to fight, and that was, I really enjoyed that. Flying mechanics are janky as hell. They really are. And the camera fights you. And changing from different powers is so simplistic that nothing really changes as you progress in the game. But what made my score almost go up to a 7 is the cat collecting scheme. I loved every second of it, in which I would do more of that than the actual story. I'm not gonna lie though. Story-wise, there was barely to little happening with cinematics. It did feel off though whenever a transition would go to a cinematic shot than a regular in-game cutscene. happening, there was some cutscenes that would cut off. Like, it was weird. And it could have been my Slim. I don't really know. Because I was playing it on my Silver Jerry, which is my PlayStation 2 Slim. But who knows? I'm blaming the cinematic shot on my console. I don't really know. It was very weird in game, though. I will tell you that. The free roam aspect I liked. I did appreciate the free roam. Don't get me wrong there. But the constant activities would be randomly freaking annoying. No, there was no room to breathe. But if anyone is looking for a Superman simulator, I guess this would be it. Because this is the only kind of Superman game that, someone actually, designed and published. The side activities, however, are not part of the story progression from what I remember. But okay, so this might be clarification from what I was talking about earlier. I just wish this game could have let the player breathe and stop for a second before getting into more activities and random BS. It's very tedious and agitating doing the same missions over and over again. The music and sound design I thought was actually not bad. But it does keep the realism there when you save the city with that jingle when it plays. So I do appreciate the subtle jingles that it plays when you get done, or the famous dun, 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 dun. I really appreciated that. So that was the review of Superman Returns, and my final verdict is a 5.9 out of 10. So it's not it's not like the worst game, but it pulled me on some level of my strings where I just wanted to break free from it, but then I felt really more immersed as when you did more of the combat rather than the flying. When you're multitasking between flying and fighting, and then everything is just throwing so much crap at you all at once. It's so hard to back away from that as you are trying to fight the camera. That is the biggest problem with this game suffers with, as well with the story. The story does not keep me captivated. Sometimes it will play some movie, even when it's like completely abrupt and I don't know what's actually happening in the game. So it's hard to know what is story and what is not, and what is completely randomness within the game. So it's very, I would say I was confused. This was a very confusing game. I will say that for sure. A very confusing game for a very confused person playing Superman Returns. And I hope you don't return. And that was Superman. That was Superman, man. And now, on to the fourth game. Let's go on. Should we do the fourth game? Should we not? Should we just cut it out of my life completely? There we go. Fourth game. I'm happy. And oh my god, the description is long. Okay. Am I ready for this? Can my voice bear it? Maybe. Maybe not. But hey, we got Quantum of Solace. 007 Quantum of Solace. Which is our randomized fourth game. Which the platforms are PC, PS2, and Xbox. Did it come out on GameCube? I don't know. Look it up. This is from what I'm looking at on my Discord thing here. The genre: action, shooter, first person, and arcade. I don't remember any arcade though. I don't remember that. But the developer, Beanox. Publisher, Activision. Released November 4th, 2008. Randomized August 26th, 2023, and started September 1st, 2023, ended September 3rd, 2023. And that's how it started. But here's the description of what the game is about. Introducing a moral, lethal, and cunningly efficient Bond. The game blends intense first-person action with a unique third-person cover combat system that allows players to truly feel what it is like to be the ultimate secret agent as they use their stealth, precision, shooting, and lethal combat skills to progress through missions. Blending the action of the Quantum of Solace feature film with the Casino Royale movie. The title propels players into the cinematic experience of international espionage. Based on the Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare game engine that has been specifically engineered to immerse players in the Bond universe, the Quantum of Solace game delivers high-definition graphics, reactive AI, and visually stunning locations inspired by locales portrayed in the films. Quantum of Solace marks the first time players can become the dangerous and cunning Bond as portrayed by the Daniel Craig himself. From silent takedowns and sneaking through confined spaces to one-on-one shootouts and large-scale battles, players experience a variety of gameplay that challenges them to think through situations and choose how they progress, whether it's through covert means or confronting enemies in full force. Advanced combat and realistic AI. Players engage in both first-person and third-person gameplay that allows gamers to be Bond in unscripted battles against the world's most evil villains and mercenaries. Filled with armed combat, massive explosions, and vertigo-inducing chases, gamers are immersed in an authentic Bond universe and drawn into epic movie moments with theatrical camera angles, split-screen effects, picture-in-picture sequences, and amazing environments inspired by real-world locations such as Montenegro, Venus, Bolivia, and Australia. It's Austria. I said Australia. Bringing James Bond to next-gen consoles for the first time. Gamers now have the ability to battle online in a variety of modes. That I did not know. Did I check out the online thing here? I don't think I did. But hey, that was long. That was pretty long. I will say so myself here, sir. But let's go to my review and see what I thought about James Bond 007 Quantum of Solace. Here we go. James Bond had some sad, disappointing, and angry, rageful moments. Which is true. But overall, the game had some perks to keep it from tearing the player's sanity apart. Okay. My review. This game started out as your typical James Bond story from its licensed acquired game with what I said, from Casino Royale and that blend and with the Quantum of Solace locations. And it didn't really keep me focused on the story itself, but I really appreciated just being Bond and doing missions. Like, it kept me immersed as I kept playing as Bond, and like the chase sequences and doing really cool action battles when you're in that one precision mode. I think that's what it's called. It's been a while. I'm trying to remember a little bit what I did in Bond here. I really appreciated just being Bond and doing... Okay, already said that. In comparison of watching the movies, gameplay-wise felt janky at times, with its precision mode being your main focus of fighting. All the time. It was all the time. You could not get a break from it. Even if you wanted to shoot in just regular third person, you could, but you'll miss like 10 times. It's like fighting a wall. Are you making any progress? No, you're still shooting the wall. You can't even shoot the guy. But sometimes maybe you'll shoot the guy. Not all the time. Barely to little action sequences, although I did enjoy the quirky interactive segments with different bosses or chase sequences. It felt God of War-like sometimes, like when you get into the boss battles and then you have to like press the buttons, or you have to mash buttons in order within that sequential order, so that way you take down that boss. It was like that, but with chase segments, and then there's sometimes it was with bosses. It really depended in the game of what you were doing. the aiming could have been more adjusted, and I wish Bond had more of an arsenal of weaponry like the other Bond games have done before. Which I believe the other Bond games I did play was like 007 Nightfire and 007 From Russia with Love, because I know some of those games offered a different arsenal of weaponry that you could use in the game. However, this one didn't really give you much of a variety, which only gave you, like, if you shot a guy, you would be able to pick up that weapon of what he had. But you don't have like those really cool fancy gadgets like the other games have done before. I really wish she had something like that, although I know they're trying to keep it more movie oriented with this game, but I do wish they could have upped their arsenal other than just using your just using your defaulted weapons that you're only able to use in the game. Other than that, that's kind of my pros and cons about the game. And my final verdict. Let's give this one kind of felt a little bit fast right here for Bond, but that's just my 2 cents with it. And then here is my final verdict. 5.5 out of 10. So it's not a bad game, but I would say it really upped the challenge for me. And there has been some tears that have been shed, because I remember one time in the game, it was like very towards the end of the game where I was trying to fight this boss and I kept dying. I tried to figure out some strategy, some sort of way to how to do it. And then I remember having to resort to YouTube to figure out why I could not fight this boss battle correctly. And it turns out that you have to use the environment to your advantage, and I just didn't know that. And YouTube helped me out with that because I wasn't too sure of what I was doing correctly. But I was able to figure it out, and I was able to complete all of 007 Quantum of Solace. And I did check out the extras. The extras were actually kind of nice. They weren't really rewarding, but they were there in case if you just wanted to check them out, see what else that they did, that Activision implemented in 007 Quantum of Solace on the PlayStation 2. Other than that, that is my full review, my feelings, how I feel about 007. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game, which is number 5. Pitfall! Randomized game number 5. The Lost Expedition. I'm happy with this one. I really do feel happy, but also felt a little bit agitated here. The platform, GameCube, Xbox, and PlayStation 2. The genre, action platformer and 3D, of course. The developer, Edge of Reality. Publisher, Activision. Same people that did Bond from before. Released February 18th, 2004. Franchise, of course, Pitfall, because the original Pitfall came out on the Atari system, from what I remember. Because I feel like there's just basic knowledge. Sorry if Stream Tune's turned off for a while. I can't control that. I don't know why it's doing it. Anyway, it's just going to be a quiet little podcast here. So it randomized September 1st, 2023. Started November 22nd, 2023, and ended December 10th of 2023. So August 21st, get out of here. That's incorrect. But that's all right. I'm telling you the correct and accurate dates here. And again, I will say this again. Randomized September 1st, started November 2nd, and ended December 10th. And here's what the game is about. Delving deep in the Peruvian. Yeah, delving deep in the I can't even say it. I said it correctly, and then I can't. Peruvian jungle. You assume the role of Pitfall Harry, a fearless, rough, and ready treasurer. I can't take this serious. A fearless, rough, and ready treasure seeker who battles evil using his athletic ability and a knapsack filled with adventure gear. Your mission: race against a rival explorer to find hidden treasures, which could spell doom for you and your friends if they fall into the wrong hands. The game challenges you to explore an obstacle-filled world featuring over 50 perilous levels, including lush rainforests, creature-ridden caves, and vast glacial mountains. You'll be swinging on vines, avoiding crocodiles, and dodging rolling logs as you unearth artifacts and use your cunning to defeat dangerous foes. That's what it. That's what the description of the game is about. Let's go ahead and go to that review here. All right. Pitts did the falls, and Harry found his expedition. Time travel. We didn't finish all of Pitfall, Harry, but we did finish the main story, from what I remember. So there are some shamans and other extra stuff we didn't do, which I can attest to that. If you do go back to the other episodes that I've done, you can actually find out what is completed and what is not. Also, there is a secret game in the game itself, the original Pitfall. Ain't that crazy? In which we did kind of play in one episode, which I do remember. If anyone does care to watch some of the stuff or some of the episodes that I've done for season 1, go back. Check out some of the episodes if you like. They're always a fun little blast because I'll always say the weirdest and unspeakable random things on stream sometimes. Back when I had internet. Okay. Crimmy's, or I was going to say my score. I got to still read my review. My review. If I see a platformer, I'm going to love it. Although in this particular game, I wasn't expecting the twists and turns that the story was going to offer. With the original Pitfall on the Atari system, they adapted a new and very confusing story about the lost city of El Dorado and time travel at the same time. Gameplay-wise, I loved every second of it. The different varieties of tools and combat skills to pull off is amazing. The minigames made it 10 times better, and the enemies felt like a real challenge at times. If anyone is looking for a good platformer and a somewhat confusing story, this would be it. And also, it had cheats. This game was so fun. It really was. I had a lot of fun time playing Pitfall. Although we had some hiccups along the road of doing some of the episodes. There was one episode, I think it was like 4 or 5 hours, only because I did not save my progress and I restarted everything. That was abysmal. I will not do that again. That was a lesson learned, to remember to save your game or that shit happens to you. And then what else was there that I just remember now? And there was a cheat code you'd be able to access, which was you get to play as Nicole in the game, which almost had it's the same physique as Pitfall, but you're basically just playing as Nicole as if you are Pitfall, if that makes any sense. Nicole, the Lost Expedition. That's the sequel to Pitfall, if anyone was wondering. No, but that's my full review of Pitfall: Lost Expedition. I had a lot of fun with that game. I really did, because I was actually going back and forth at the time when I was doing my Xbox 360 episodes, which was Lego Indiana Jones and Pitfall. I was going back and forth with that one. I had a lot of fun playing Pitfall. I really just enjoy it. It was a very fun time playing it. I'm going to love platformers no matter what, because I grew up with platformers, and the very first game I grew up with Sly Cooper. You can't go wrong with Sly Cooper. Discord is acting up. I was going to go to something, and then it didn't want to do it. Let's go on to the next game as soon as I get to it. Okay, where are you? You are... Where the heck is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, yeah, I found it. Are we here? Nope, it's this one. Hey, no. Yay! Okay. I was like, is this the right one? I had to look at the number here. That was randomized game number 5. This is randomized game number 6. We're getting through this. We're almost halfway through. We're halfway through this. And I'm having a lot of fun. Even if we have some hiccups here and there, that's okay. Am I going to add this? No. You're just going to have to suffer with me through these reviews. And, I mean, that's not what I meant. I'm just joking. I'm just having fun here. And just kind of sharing my experience and how I feel about these games. Let's go ahead and do Hulk. Hulk, you are such a pain in my ass. Platform. PC, PS2, and Xbox. GameCube, got no idea. Probably. Genre, action, beat 'em up, and 3D. The developer, Radical Entertainment. Publisher, Universal Interactive. Released May 27th, 2003. It was randomized November 26th, 2023. Started December 7th, 2023, and ended December 18th, 2023. Bear in mind, I think Hulk was, it went Pitfall, and when I completed Pitfall, I went to Hulk. So, just, you have an idea. So what is Hulk about? Well, I can tell you. The Hulk takes place 1 year after the events in the film, with troubled scientist Bruce Banner and his enraged alter ego, the Hulk, forced into action once again. A new villain, known as the Leader, plans to use the Hulk's gamma energy to unleash a relentless army of gamma creatures on the world. Well, and only you can stop him. Employ the powers of stealth and logic as Bruce Banner, or command the incredible strength and the fury of the Hulk. Take down your foes in fully destructible environments. The Hulk's 25 attacks can hurt your foes and can also destroy your environments. Thank you, Bentley. No problem. Now, I'm going to give you my full review of what I think about Hulk. Where is Hulk? Hulk, where are you? Where are you? Where are you, buddy? Oh, here you are. This is okay. Hulk. I mean, what more do you want to ask for? It's Hulk, and we did beat the main story. There are some extras and activities you can do, but it's not required by percentage wise. So, this game gave me a tough time of its puzzles, playing as Banner, and even fighting as the Hulk. The main story felt very confusing at times, in which it brought in quite a bit of Marvel characters from its comics into a nonsensical story. Supposedly, and it's true, from what I read in the description, this game is a direct sequel from the original film told in a video game format. 1 minute, the game focuses on Ravage, and I thought Ravage was the main villain. And the next, we don't even acknowledge him at all, and focuses on the Leader, which is the main antagonist. This game feels rushed a quarter way through just to introduce a Hulk villain that is so brief that the game lacks in story structure. That is where I'm at with Hulk. Gameplay-wise, suffers from the lack of sensitivity movement, delayed in attacks, and the most slowest moving Hulk I've ever seen in video game history. I cannot emphasize that enough. Playing as Bruce made it really challenging, only because it would ask of you to do the most simplistic things like coding, puzzle solving, and sneaking around enemies that felt agonizing to do. It was terrible. I did not like playing as Bruce because, sure, the sneaking was a challenge in itself, which was easy to do sometimes, but when it came down to the puzzle solving and the coding, don't ask me to do that twice. I will not. You can't. I don't want it. But don't get me wrong here, folks. I love me some puzzle solving, and stealth sequences in games, That is, if it's done correctly. This is by far the worst game I've ever played, and yet I felt more immersed as I was playing as the Hulk than I did playing as Bruce Banner. But, with that being said, that is my review of Universal Interactive Games associated with Marvel, Hulk, with our randomized game. Oh, I did not like this game. And I put the score at a 3.5 out of 10. And that was Hulk, everyone. Hulk. I don't want to talk more about this. I don't like Hulk. Like, I love Hulk, but this game made me rage, and just the sensitivity movement, I already explained in the review, but it was the most slowest Hulk, and I could not control him for the life of me. I really couldn't. Like, you can't dodge. The only dodge you could do was jump, and that was it. You couldn't just like dodge. You really couldn't. You really just couldn't. He couldn't. So, with that being said, we're gonna move on to the next game before I go insane with Hulk, which is Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts 2, everyone. Platform, of course, PlayStation 2, and it also is on multiple other different platforms if you so choose to play Kingdom Hearts 2 at your own content. But here, I play it on the PS2. Genre, role-playing, action, RPG. Developer and publisher, Square Enix. Released March 28th, 2006. Franchise, of course, Kingdom Hearts. It was randomized December 15th, 2023. Started December 31st, not 14th, but it ended May 26th of 2024. So it took a while until we actually completed Kingdom Hearts 2, as I was going back and forth between Cabela's and Motocross Mania 3 during that time. I think also our 5 main games we were doing that was randomized back in March, which was like Dance Factory, and then we did Ratchet and Clank, and the other 2 sports games that were in that same lineup, and then and then the randomized games, which was Ratchet and Clank and EyeToy Operation Spy. But I didn't start EyeToy Operation Spy until like November. I didn't start it until November for EyeToy for this year. But what is Kingdom Hearts 2 about? Well, Kingdom Hearts 2 is the sequel to the action role-playing game featuring a host of familiar characters from movies and video games alike. Disney characters Sora, what the hell? Sora, Donald Duck, and Goofy are searching for their missing king, and it is up to you to help find him. The game also features characters such as Captain Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean, and characters from the Final Fantasy series of games which are never played. Voice actors Haley Joel Osment and James Woods joined the cast, and the veteran designers of the original Kingdom Hearts have returned to work on the sequel. That's all I got. That's all I got of what Kingdom Hearts 2 is about. I feel like there would have been a lot more, like, of a lengthier lore, of a description, but I'm just grabbing these descriptions from GameFAQs. So, if it's any consolation as to where I'm grabbing these, it's GameFAQs. If it's not a good source, please let me know. I'll choose a different source of what would be a better description for these games. Let me go ahead and do the review of what I thought about Kingdom Hearts 2, which was I played the greatest hits version, not the black label. So I hope I get that across. Greatest hits, I played. Black label, I didn't. Same game, but I think the greatest hits offers, I believe, some more extra stuff, or even just the manual in itself. Because I know the manual's actually grayed out if you have the greatest hits, whereas if you have the black label, it's all in color. Which I already know the facts of what that is about. It's something really cool about it, like with the whole greatest hits, with the whole manuals and whatnot. But it's just something really cool that I thought of. Or I didn't think of it. I just, from what I looked at and read and watched on the interwebs of the internet. So here's my review. Despite the game is unfinished for other extra stuff, I still managed to do other things offline while I grinded, doing gummy ship levels, leveling up the Moogle and other cool things, and and etc. of that. I still managed to finish the main story, so I call that an absolute win. And then I have a snapshot of every game that I do that is completed, and it's put in the archives for anyone to look at and say, hey, you actually completed the game. So yeah, as a proof of completion. And so here is... Okay, I was about to say the score. I'm trying to not say it and just save that for last. Okay. I wish I could give this game a 10 out of 10. Everything felt so right with this game in terms of voice acting, gameplay, environments, and the overall theme of the many different worlds. I do think that if I played the other games that connects everything else, I think I would understand a bit more of the story. There were at certain points in the game where I was a bit confused, but later on it would explain what is going on for further exposition or even just clarification of what's going on. That's my only complaint about the game, which is the confusing parts where they add other different people from different games. And with the whole of why Kyrie was looking at some other guy that looked like Riku or something, that was very confusing. All right, there was one moment in the game that did that, and I was like, "What's going on? He's not Riku. That's someone else. What are we talking about? You bullshitting me. This ain't Riku." But hey, what do I know? But this is just a sequel of me just playing the game and just how I feel about it and what I know. Overall gameplay mechanics felt right for this era in gaming. Yes, most of the camera controls back then were inverted, but I'm not going to hold that against other titles that have similar issues. The different scenes and overall undertone of different worlds made it very versatile with what the game asks of you to do. In the beginning, I loved playing Roxas and doing side activities to get the know-how of Hollow Bastion, but after that, I wish I played more of Roxas than I did with Sora. So it goes to show character building and a good story can still hold up, even though if it's not centered on the supposed main protagonist of the game, which that was the biggest thing for me, that I really wanted Roxas as the main character. We got to play him in the good portion in the very beginning, but then after that we played as Sora. Sure, I played a little bit of the first game. I never beat the first game, but I really wish we had Roxas as the main character rather than Sora. But that's just my thoughts on it. Final thoughts. A great game for anybody to enjoy that loves Disney and briefly loose adaptations of based Final Fantasy characters, which I never played, but I have seen what Final Fantasy is and what it entails, so I kind of see how it derives from the Final Fantasy games from it. A game for all ages to play and a lovable RPG game in general. And my score on Kingdom Hearts 2, 9.9 out of 10. I could have gave it a 10 out of 10, but I gave it a 9.9. But it was a very awesome experience. The many different worlds that it shown are just so gorgeous. They're so beautiful just to look at. I mean, sure, you're going through different world to different world by gummy ship, but that's what's awesome about Kingdom Hearts, is that you're not designated in one area. You're able to move freely within the world, and that's what's awesome about exploration and self-discovery with Sora, and I think with Roxas, because Roxas is a nobody from what I remember in the game of Kingdom Hearts 2. So I think there's something that's there that I'm missing of what Roxas and what Sora is. But I think it's shown us in the very end that Roxas is a part of Sora, which is in his heart, if I remember correctly. So there's some story that I still don't understand. So if I played more of the Kingdom Hearts games, I think I would understand a bit better than with what I already know of what I played in Kingdom Hearts 2. Other than that, let's go ahead and move on to our 8th game. I'm excited for it. Let's do it. Judge Dredd. Dredd versus Death. Look at that. This game, oh man, I had so much fun with this one. Platform, PlayStation 2. I think this was also on PC and Xbox. GameCube? I don't know. I'm just going to keep saying I don't know for GameCube. The genre, action, shooter, first person, and arcade, which does have arcade. And the James Bond had arcade, but I don't remember if it had any arcade, though. There was a thumbprint scanner thing in 007 Quantum of Solace, but would you consider that an arcade thing? I don't know, man. The developer for Judge Dredd, Dredd vs. Death is Rebellion. Publisher, Evolved Games. Released February 23rd, 2005. Franchise, Judge Dredd, of course. And then he was randomized December 18th of 2023. Started January 3rd, 2024, and ended March 6th of 2024. So there's some things, yeah, I'm not going to reiterate what I'm saying here, but yeah, there will be things here on the screen that may be outdated. Everything on the Discord is accurate and true of its dates. So, did I want to go through the hassle of refixing this? No, I'll just keep it as is. But what is Judge Dredd about? Judge Dredd versus Death, Judge Dredd, Dredd versus Death combines weapon management, fast-paced combat, and intense multiplayer action based on the comic book. The game puts you in the shoes of Judge Dredd, a no-holds-barred judge who is determined to clean up the streets of the futuristic Mega City 1. Armed with an all-purpose lawgiver that features 6 types of ammo, you can shoot to wound, shoot to kill, or make an arrest, all while keeping an eye on your law meter. Shoot an unarmed citizen, and your law meter will drop. Apprehend numerous criminals, and it will rise. Binga bonga boom, you got a great game. I mean, you can't go wrong with some Judge Dredd. I really had a lot of fun with it. I am not going to lie to you about that. But let's go ahead and get into the review and share my thoughts. This game blew me away. Its gorgeous detail and environments, the character models looked very appalling and visually disgusting, that it nails it in the ballpark of the art department. I loved every second of just looking at the visuals and the different artifacts that it just, plays in the game, and the cinematics just look so good. I mean, man, I was just very, very happy with the game. Very gorgeous, atmospheric, cyberpunk world made it so hypnotic that it made it kind of hard to look at everything it offered. Storytelling felt very vibrant and very, very short, which was sort of disappointing. I do wish they expanded more on the lore from the comics, but I'm kind of asking too much. Gameplay-wise, your average first-person shooter, but with different modes and your weaponry you can choose from, all in one gun. I really appreciate the different varieties of guns that the game offered. The arcade and extras made it worth the while after the main story. The different locations of the world of Judge Dredd I really adored, and it felt fun to be in. Overall, this game was awesome and fun to play. My score, 9.8 out of 10. It really could have beat Kingdom Hearts, but I beat the dead horse, and I had to knock it down a peg, because if I would have put Judge Dredd at a 9.9, it would have had competition between Kingdom Hearts 2. So I gave it an appropriate score, which was 9.8 out of 10 for Judge Dredd, Dredd versus Death. I had a lot of fun with this game. I really did. And I wish there was more to it. That's the only thing that kind of was a bummer to it. Other than that, let's move on to our 9th game. Ratchet and Clank! Ratchet and Clank going commando. The platform, PS2, and other, miscellaneous platforms it's also on, because it's on a lot. The genre, action, platformer, and 3D. Developer, Insomniac Games. Publisher, Sony Computer Entertainment America. Released November 11th, 2003. Also known as Ratchet & Clank 2 Locked and Loaded from the EU and AU. Or it could have been Ratchet & Clank 2, or Ratchet & Clank 2, or another Ratchet & Clank 2. It just says more different, same title, but just in different regions. So it was randomized March 20th, 2024. Started May 30th of 2024 and ended November 17th of 2024. So you might be asking, what is Ratchet & Clank Going Commando about? Well, in case if you didn't know, from the creators of Ratchet & Clank comes the next installment of the sci-fi action-adventure series. Ratchet & Clank Going Commando features more than 50 imaginative weapons and gadgets. The more things you blow up, the stronger Ratchet gets, and the more advanced the weapons you'll have. You can participate in all new side challenges, destroy hordes of enemies in gladiator arenas, upgrade your ship, and pick off enemies in space combat, and you can leave competitors to eat your dust in high-speed challenges. Are you up for it? Because I'm up for it. That was the whole description of Ratchet and Clank Going Commando. I sped through that one. It didn't beat two. But here's my review of Ratchet and Clank Going Commando, which is the greatest hits, by the way. I didn't play the Black Label. This is the greatest hits that I played. Which, I already discussed this, of what the greatest hits entails. So, well. What can I say about this game? Absolutely action-packed. Fun to be in, and you get to destroy everything in your wake. Ratchet & Clank Going Commando had some ups and some downs. Fighting the camera sometimes, unaware of enemies behind you. Like, don't get me wrong, they implement a strafing in the game, which is nice, but your weakness is really Ratchet's backside. Platforming can be fluid sometimes, and other times can be overwhelmingly infuriating. The racing segments, using the infiltrator for puzzles, collecting rare titanium to upgrade your ship, collecting platinum bolts was such a nice change up in the game, which boosts my score up to a 9. The amount of variety the game gives you is very freedom-like. And then I also forgot to mention that Clank, there are some missions with Clank that were implemented in the game to help Ratchet in certain areas. The scenery and environments felt beautiful and vibrant to look at. No complaints there, because I enjoyed looking at the beautiful scenery that the game offered. The soundtrack is such a freaking bop, and the arenas gave the player a challenge, a must game to play on the PlayStation 2 hardware. Also, I gotta mention, when I completed the game, it also allowed us to create a new game plus. I went ahead and started after the main game, and I just left it as is. I could come back and do it, but I may savor it for another time for Ratchet and Clank Going Commando. And that was our 9th game for Ratchet and Clank. I had a lot of fun with Ratchet and Clank. Like, I had a lot of competition between what was going to be my favorite game throughout the whole season of the PlayStation 2 series. And it was between Kingdom Hearts, Ratchet and Clank, and Judge Dredd, because I couldn't make up my mind, but that's going to be later on in this video, so you might actually find that entertaining. But that was our 9th game that was randomized, which was such a blessing. Such a freaking blessing. Thank you, Ratchet and Clank. Thank you, Judge Dredd. The other games, like Pitfall, 007, Treasure Planet, those are mediocre games in my mind because those were actually not bad. But we'll get to that later. I'll explain how I feel about those games. Don't worry, there's going to be some extra cool stuff later in this review, which you will hopefully like, and which I implemented, which is going to be fantastic. I hope so anyway. So we are, oh no, we're going descending. No, we're going to go here. Oh my God, it's EyeToy Operation Spy, the last game of the series. The platform. It was on the PlayStation 2. My brain thought, wouldn't it be crazy if this was emulated? How would you do it if it was emulated? The genre, action adventure, general. The developer Sonar again with the Sonar Computer Entertainment America. London or SCEE London Studio is the developer. The publisher is what I was going to say, Sony Computer Entertainment America. And it was released November 15th, 2005, but is also known as Spy Toy in different regions, such as in Europe and Austria or Australia. EyeToy. Randomized March 20th, same day with Ratchet. 2024, March 20th, 2024. And then started November 17th, 2024, and ended December 11th of 2024 of our adventures of EyeToy. And it's got quite a lot to say for what this game is about. So, without further ado, let's get into it. EyeToy Operation Spy is the ultimate spy training that sends players into a world of international espionage and undercover surveillance, presented with a strong narrative. Sure. Players join the SIA Strategic Intelligence Agency and are tasked with bringing to justice a global network of master criminals. EyeToy Operation Spy offers two unique modes, gameplay and surveillance. Gameplay mode allows players to enroll at the SIA and train to master the art of espionage. Your secret agent skills are put to the test by undertaking a range of assignments such as code breaking, skydiving, device disposable, criminal profiling, and using high-tech equipment to zoom in to locations via satellite to uncover a criminal mastermind bent on taking over the world. Surveillance mode is a robot security system that uses the EyeToy USB camera to secretly capture footage of unwanted intruders. It can be used to passively monitor a room, triggering playback of a pre-recorded warning message on the TV screen. Now, if only we could use that out in public, so that way people can get caught by the EyeToy Operation Spy camera. I just wanted to make a joke there. I'm sorry. I lost what I was doing. It can secretly record the person from the moment they entered the area, or allow players to establish a perimeter system, protecting specific areas or objects within a room. Sure, we gotta test that out. I don't want to, but maybe Target can use they can update their systems. They can use a PS2 USB camera, right? They can do it. They can, just finish it. Just catch a guard or catch someone stealing something. EyeToy picks it up. No biggie. It's okay. So here's my review. So I went out of my way to read some reviews on the Metacritic just to see what critics thought about their experience with EyeToy Operation Spy. Quite frankly, a lot of mixed and negative reviews. Not one single positive thing about this game. And that's saying a lot. Well, from researching on the YouTube to find more information and videos in regards of this game, it's quite damning to see barely to little footage online for EyeToy Operation Spy. So far, I believe I'm the only person that made it alive through an official walkthrough, or at least playthrough, of EyeToy Operation Spy, other than having to see other people's reaction or even just, videos of EyeToy with it being like 8 to maybe 15 minutes of footage. There is another YouTube channel that has also done this game, but they didn't fully complete it. From what I remember watching, I don't was it Game Rant? I don't know if it was Game Rant, but that I'm trying to remember the YouTube channel name, and I can't think of the name right now. Well, here today, it is my official and last review of the PlayStation 2 series for for the whole entire season 1. So my review is well, you know, this game in particular falls hard on its story narrative as you, a new member in the agency as a new recruit, oh my god, as a new recruit, have to strategically defuse bombs, hack laptops, and even skydiving missions that require you to use your whole freaking body. But the game doesn't tell you that there is more lore in the manual with city locations, character development, and even more detailed information in regards of the narrative. So, sure, they will tell you what they are made to tell you, like in the in-game stuff, but they don't tell you that there's a lot more stuff in the manual than there is in the game. So bear in mind with that. The distraction of Alicia and your boss doesn't keep me as the player intrigued enough to care as to why we're doing such mini games. It's very half-assed and very bland with how they tell like the story and whatnot. But what made my score up is a certain mini game that was enjoyable, like the puzzle solving mini games where you get to go back and forth with that cube. Which was, I thought, really good. Skydiving took some warming up to, but it was very decent for what it was, and the wall connectors minigame was actually pretty moderate in terms of having to figure it out. Hold on. Sorry, I was going out an hour here of just purely talking, and I had to clear my throat here. Take a sip, water. As you skydive below getting the rings, I had time to view the city and just to see if there was anything ever happening down below. To my surprise, the city felt alive. And it didn't feel like it was boring. Sure, it may have the Superman Returns effect, because it really did feel that way. I'm just happy we get to see something else for a change. By the time I reached the end of the game, I was so happy to be done with it. As a very rough, around the edges type game, and if you're looking for a tough EyeToy game to up your fancy, then EyeToy Operation Spy is your espionage kind of game. This game was a very hard game in terms of having to use your whole body, using your arms, just to even finish. Like, I mean, sure, some of the mini games are pretty bare bones. They're pretty easy to do. But when it comes down to the skydiving, and then there's a few that were very rage-inducing, such as like the sphere mini game, which you cannot move your body. Even if you try to like move a lot with your arms, you really can't. You're very sophisticated in one spot, and you cannot move more than what you have to. If you move like say at a very moderate pace, the sphere will break. You have to be very careful with what you do, and that's just something that I really did not like about that mini game. There's another one where you had to use it was almost like Pong, where you have to like balance out a ball that would hit all the barriers to break in the game, and that one was challenging because you're on a time oriented mini game, and you're supposed to get all of it, and you're supposed to save time. If you don't save that time, that decreases your time in order to complete that mini game, and that was always something that peer pressured me into wanting to complete it more, but also degraded my soul in the process of trying to complete EyeToy Operation Spy. But other than that, hey, we did it. We completed all of all of the games. But I feel like that's just not fair if I don't give a review for my main man, Scooby. Scooby Doo. Like, come on, man. That's why I added this one. So, well, let's go ahead and do some Scooby. Platform, PlayStation 2. The genre, action platformer and 3D. The developer that did it, Artificial Mind and Movement. Or AM. Publisher, THQ. Released September 12th. I want to say 2nd. It wouldn't. It was September 12th that was released, 2005. And the franchise, of course, was Scooby Doo, Scooby Doo, Scooby Doo. It was a holiday game. It was selected. It wasn't randomized. So I'm just going to add it to the pile. And it was started October 23rd. And it ended October 3rd. And you may not be asking if this phone could stop doing this ringy thingy. The Mystery Inc. are the stars of a hit reality TV show about ghost hunting. However, when rival show team GSI or the ghost scene investigators question Mystery Inc.'s unscientific methods of ghost detection, the challenge is on to see who can debunk, what did I say? The most ghosts. Scooby, Shaggy, and the gang will travel cross country, visiting spooky locations and unmasking classic ghosts. Are their old-fashioned methods up to the challenge? Well, let's find out in this review, because I'm ready for it. Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo, DMCA. So, well, should I? No. Maybe I won't do a review. You know what? I have to. Well, it's no Night 100 Frights game. I will say that for sure. It's not a Night of 100 Frights game. That's for sure. It still brought out the similar vibes and it made the game really fun. What sparked my interests were the different attires Scooby wore in the game. And you'd be able to complete certain objectives or feats within the attire that Scooby had on. The combat is very simplistic, that it kept it grounded, but also they found ways to keep yourself entertained while fighting enemies. I was able to take in the scenery and environments, and by God, I was breathtaking for a game like this. Very gorgeous and very left field of how they presented different level designs, such as the dino exhibits in the museum hub area, which is like towards the very end of the game. In terms of sound design and music, it felt very repetitive at times, but it would have been nice if a fresh change of sound every once in a while than the constant main theme playing every time in different hub areas. That is something that I did see. Enemies got somewhat of a challenge later on, but it takes skill and coordination to do your roll move perfectly on enemies. The game does tell you that the square button is your weak attack, but sometimes you just can't help but just hit the square button, even if you don't want to. It's just constantly having to roll into enemies, which is your stronger attack. Overall, I had a lot of fun with this game, although not 100% because we didn't complete the game. I'd still come back and finish it where I left off. A very fun Halloween game completed and ready to move on to more Scooby-Doo games. Thank you, Scooby. I appreciate you. And that's it. We did it. We did all the games. We did all my reviews for them. I feel accomplished. I feel very accomplished of having to share my experiences, share my thoughts about these games, of just completing them to my heart's content. Even though if it's not a full 100%, I'm still doing this for fun. And I hope someone finds this video enjoyable for, what I think about these. And just take it for the grain of salt, too. Like, it's not going to be perfect. I'm all out of whack here with this video because I thought music was going to keep playing. Of course, it just chose not to. It played for a while, but then after that it said, the middle finger, and I digress. I said I was sorry, and I guess it didn't want to come back and play more music. Hey, but I got a fun thing we can do. Let's do it. Oh my god, what is this? What is that? There is PS2 games everywhere. What's this? What that? We're gonna rank them everywhere. Okay, let's do it. We can rank them. Oh, I'm so excited. I am excited. Okay, this is the PS2 series of Season 1. Well, how do I feel about them? Well, Disney's Treasure Planet, it was okay. It was an okay game. Like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible by any means. I think there was some things that it could have been better on. But other than that, I want to shove that guy over in the creatively okay section here. Because it wasn't, like I said, like the game could have been better, but since it was kind of half-assed and with the whole story and with it being released after a month of the movie, I mean, they really had to cut ties, which I really did put there in the review. I'm just going off from what I said, and just yeah, I think Treasure Planet is creatively okay. That is something I do think about. Not all the time, just right now. Gretzky NHL 2005. I feel bad for not actually continuing Gretzky. I kind of wish I had more information and just more of a better experience on it. So I'm just gonna put it in the C's because I was debating to put it in the downright bad, but with my lazy attitude and my drunkenness really just shows how, like my negative side about how I felt the game. But if I were to do it correctly and if I was sober, I think I would have had a better experience with Gretzky NHL 2005. So I'm just gonna put it in the creatively okay. Superman. What do we think about Superman? Well, it had some things that were okay with it, but then I just really had a bad experience overall with how to coordinate my fighting and the combat. The cat collecting scheme is the only thing that's holding that game together because that's the only thing I really did appreciate about the game of just collecting cats. But other than that, nothing else was very like um memorable except for the cats. So I'm gonna put that as a downright bad game. It could have done better, but I just don't know. What are we doing here, OBS? Are we crashing here? Okay, I got scared for a second. I had a cursor in my mouse indicating that I thought the OBS was gonna crash. I was like, no, not during this, please. Okay, but it didn't crash. I don't know what that was. It scared me. Anyway, that's how I felt about Superman. And the next one is 007 Quantum of Solace. Well, there were some things I don't like, some things I didn't like, but it was creatively okay. Like, it wasn't terrible by any means. I'm saying that for most of these games. I'm trying to go back in the back of my head. I think about, was Bond a fun experience or was it not really? Like, it was very immersive. I will say that. Like, getting into action, shooting guys. Like, that's all I can think of right now. I think I'm just gonna put Bond at a creatively okay point here with how I feel about him. Pitfall was fun. Pitfall had a good experience. I mean, that's an automatic below average here. It's not an accurately well done game with all with just the story narrative because the whole time travel scheme and whatnot, but because there were some instances where I was confused as to why it was with the whole time travel thing. But overall, there were so many things in that game that offered a lot of variety, and I just really appreciated that with what Pitfall, um, gave to me. And despite the game crashing and some things that were like nitpicky about why I didn't like that, I'm not gonna hold that against Pitfall. So it could be the disc of why it crashed. So I just felt like it was a good game. Like Pitfall's not a bad game. It's a good game, not a great game, but it's there. What's the next one here? Oh no, we got Hulk. We got Hulk. Oh man, there's a lot of things to say about Hulk, and Hulk is just not one of them. Hulk, I'm sorry, man. I wish you could have been a better experience, but you just weren't. So you're just gonna have to go in the downright bad pile here. Like sure, I felt immersed as playing as the Hulk, but it was such a rocky experience with Hulk. I think that's the best way I can put it. It was very rocky between managing of playing Hulk and Bruce Banner, only because of the certain instances that you had to do with Banner, and then Hulk not wanting to dodge even if you wanted to, you freaking couldn't. And that's just what bothered me about that. And the camera would fight you. There's so many things that's wrong with Hulk, but if it was a better game, then I probably could have gave it a better um score. But other than that, that's where I'm at with Hulk. What's the next game? Kingdom Hearts 2. Oh, it's beautiful. You know, you thought I was going to put in the B's. You were wrong. I am putting it in the accurately well done pile. Even though Roxas was not part of the main character, I'm not going to hold that against the game. That's just my thing. But it was a fun experience. You get to play as Sora, play as the gang, you know, and just exploring the worlds and the many different worlds in Kingdom Hearts 2 was such a blast that there's so much to do in the game. There's quite a bit to do, and you never felt bored. There was always something you could do. You could grind in the game for more Mooney, and I appreciated what Kingdom Hearts was, and that it's breathtaking. Kingdom Hearts 2, if you haven't played, you gotta play it because it's a good game. What's the next one here? Judge Dredd, you are creatively, beautifully insane. I'm putting Judge Dredd up in the A's. Even though there could be some things that are lackluster in the game. Oh no, what did I do? I'm putting it up in the accurately well done. I have to. I was gonna put it in the below average, but it's not because I'm not gonna say it's terrible. It was very freaking fun. It was a fun cyberpunk world. You get to go around, arrest people at your own free will, kill people if you wanted to. If you wanted to do that, you can. You had so much freedom in the game that's what made my score go up. And then not even just that, but the many different arcades and different extra stuff you get to do. Even though if the campaign was short, it was still fun to be in. And Judge Dredd, you've been a blessing. An accurately well done game right there. What's the next one? Ratchet and Clank going Commando. Oh man, you were just a downright creatively okay, below average, accurately well done game. Applaud to you, Mr. Ratchet. Look at that. He made his way up and he became an accurately well done game. Look at that. I think that's beautiful. Ratchet, you made it. You made it to the third slot. You I say the third slot. The first slot. Oh my gosh. My brain just stopped computing there for a second. Ratchet, there's a lot of things I could explain about Ratchet, but I want to keep it short. Ratchet is a very fun, immersive, very fun platformer for anyone to enjoy. And honestly, you just can't go wrong with it. It's Ratchet and Clank. What more do you want? It came out on the PlayStation. Should be on PC now, I think, or maybe it's not. I know you can emulate the games, so Uh, let's just hope that Ratchet can come to PC. I know Rift Apart is on PC on Epic Game Store, so I don't see why not they can't do the original trilogy on the PC. So let's just hope for the future. And then what's next? Do you think we should do EyeToy Operation Spy? Or should we just throw that out in the trash bin? Oh, EyeToy, I'm sorry, man. I'm putting you in the downright bad games here. I was debating to put you in the creatively okay, but I feel like I don't know. I'm sorry, man. I feel bad. I feel bad for EyeToy. I wish I had a better experience with it. Even though the only good thing I can really say about the game was reading the manual, because the manual explained a lot more of the narrative and what it had to offer within the game. Even though I wasn't playing the game necessarily, it was just the manual that gave me a lot more information about the game. I think that's what made my score go up. And then also seeing the city uh, out there was really nice, which was a really nice touch. But the overall mechanics and just playing of the game was really bad, and I just wish it could have been. Ugh. I wish it was a better game, but I'm saying too much for EyeToy Operation Spy. So sorry, EyeToy, you're in the downright bad pile. And our last one, Scooby Doo Unmasked. Well, we're gonna move over. Mm, Should I go with the downright pal? No. Should I go with the creative? Okay, pal. Nah. A's. Oh, got knocked over a peg. Okay, I guess we're going to go in the below average pile because Scooby was it was a good experience. Like, sure, it may have a low rating on my end here, but I actually thought it was a very well perceived game, only because of the platforming and the many different varieties of abilities you're able to do with Scooby and the attire. Oh my god, he looked like he was going Super Saiyan and in one of the sections here in Scooby Doo Unmasked. So I couldn't say no to that. And I thought about putting 007 Quantum of Solace in the below average section, but I got too carried away with that. And I was like, no, you know what? You're creatively okay, but you're not that good. So Scooby Doo made that slot next to Pitfall. Scooby Doo was a fun experience. I didn't really have too much of a hassle. There was no bickering in the game. There wasn't really much anything that was like negative about how I felt towards it. A lot of positivity came to it. A lot, just seeing a lot of the scenery, fighting the enemies, what the game threw at me. It was such a fun experience. So that's why I'm putting Scooby in the below average pile. And look at that. That is our rating. Our 3 games in the accurately well done pile: Judge Dredd, Kingdom Hearts 2, and Ratchet and Clank. Below that, below average, Pitfall Lost Expedition and Scooby Doo Unmasked. And then 3 games for the creatively okay section: Disney's Treasure Planet, Gretzky NHL 2005, and 007 Quantum of Solace. And below that, lo and behold, the downright bad games: Superman Returns, Hulk, and EyeToy Operation Spy. Did you think it was over? Because it's not over. We got this one last thing. Let's see who won. Ta-da! Kingdom Hearts 2 in first place. Look at that. Third place made it for Ratchet and Clank Going Commando. I was really debating on who was going to win, who was going to make that first place. Kingdom Hearts 2 made the first place. And coming in second, Judge Dredd. Dredd versus Death. I had a lot. I'm going to say it. I'm sorry for saying this, but Judge Dredd, I had a lot more fun with Judge Dredd than I had with Ratchet. Because Ratchet, there was some times where I would enjoy it, and then there was at times where I would just get infuriated with some of the sections in Ratchet and Clank Going Commando. It's not a it's not a tough game, but there are some challenges that pose it to the player that it's like, why is this even happening? And towards the end of the game, I got it butt hurt me with me taking on the main antagonist of the game, which was the whole that blue furry thing. I can't remember what it's called. And I won the game. I beat it, and then towards the end, it went back to the end game shot, and I died, and I had to redo the boss all over again. And I was just so devastated with that. Even though I killed him, like what's going on there? So I'm sorry, Ratchet. Second place goes to Judge Dredd. Dredd versus Death. And the first place, Kingdom Hearts 2. Look at that. We made it. We made it to this point. But that's all I got to say. And that was my overall rating of Season 1 of the PlayStation 2 saga. Stay tuned for more reviews like these that will come out probably next year if I choose to get done with all the Xbox stuff and maybe do a review for those games, or even sports, or the Vita. I don't even know, man. But my voice is dying and I'm going to call it. But thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you more on these beautiful review videos here. See you later.